What's good, everybody? Welcome back, my beautiful divers. We got another exciting episode for you today. Before we get started, these videos are strictly for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research on everything. They are just theories, not factual, for context. With that being said, you already know what time it is. Oxygen levels.
Oxygen levels are at 100%. Navigational systems are online.
Set a course to Dark Waters 9.
If you don't believe in Bible or end-time prophecy, I'm going to change your mind right now. Revelation 16:12 says, "Then the sixth angel poured out his vial on the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up." This is a chart from 2002 to 2026 of the Euphrates River drying up year after year. But we have a prophecy in motion, but what's the result of the prophecy? The Euphrates River is literally drying up to prepare for the kings of the east to make it to Armageddon. But if for some reason you don't believe that's actually happening, let me show you a headline from just October of last year. It says, Iraq is facing the worst drought in history. The Euphrates is on the brink of environmental collapse.
The Euphrates, especially in southern stretches, has fallen so far that entire sections look more like broken pools than a river with momentum.
All over the world, nations are moving troops, building weapons, and preparing, but they don't realize what's coming. Revelation 9 says 4 angels are bound at the Euphrates River. They will be loosed to bring death and destruction to a third of the world. This isn't a theory. This is prophecy. The stage is setting, and the world is unknowingly waiting for judgment. Year after year, as you watch the Euphrates dry up, it's almost like watching a time clock count down to zero. Are you willing to put your eternal security betting that Jesus will not return?
Whenever I hear about the Euphrates River, that Gilgamesh video always pops up in my head. It's like, was there some type of underground tunnel that led them to see that Gilgamesh video? You guys know which one I'm talking about, and if you haven't, you are missing out. You need to go back and watch some of my older work where we vividly did a deep dive on that Gilgamesh tomb. There's 3 of them. You know, there's 3 different bodies by the looks of it, but it's absolutely crazy deep dive. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Is there something else under there that no one has captured video of yet?
Now, if there were giant trees, there had to have been giant trees that had fruit. And here is the proof. Now, you tell me that the inside of that doesn't look like a giant plum of some kind with a seed. I mean, just look at the picture up top, and you tell me that that does not look similar. And here's another picture of some more giant fruit from a video that I posted a while back, just to show that the evidence is out there that giant trees did exist at one time, and science can shovel all the horse manure at once and say that this stuff is just something volcanic and giant trees never existed. But to the ones that have already opened their eyes to the truth, there's no denying that at one time there was a giant world, and they can hide the truth with their science and their textbooks, but seeing is believing. Now, if there were giant trees, there had to...
I thought I was thinking of cantaloupe. When I first saw this, the first thing that popped in my mind was pumpkin or cantaloupe. Look, it's got the ridges, guys. Anybody who spends time in a garden or at least watches garden videos, you can look at this and be like, Chuck, man, that's definitely a fruit. A pumpkin, a cantaloupe, a peach, you can see the natural indentations on the outside of it. And for crying out loud, it's got split open and you can see the seed. What else are you gonna say this is? Somebody please tell me what else this could be then, if it's not a giant fruit. What could you say? It's a giant geode. No! It's a petrified fruit. That's incredible, guys. And it makes me think about the giants and what they were eating. Because the book of Enoch was talking about that the giants' hunger just went crazy and they just started eating everything. What if like humans were a lot bigger and they were eating this type of stuff? Not the actual Nephilim giants. You got the Nephilim giants. You got the Nephilim giants right here. And then you got the normal human beings that's just big because the oxygen levels was a lot better. You got more photosynthesis coming off of the large plants. You know, it's like the earth was supercharged back in the day. Could you imagine diving into that and how sweet that was in its prime right when it first fell? Man. If you're enjoying this video, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel out. Now let's get back to the action.
America is the old world. So I went to the Parthenon in Athens, Greece. Nashville, Tennessee, to check out this exact replica the Matrix says was built in 1920. Really sit with that for a second, because if you were blindfolded and dropped off here randomly, you'd swear you're standing in ancient Greece. Now what's interesting is before Nashville was known for country music and whiskey, it was originally called the Athens of the South. But that's just the cover story, because once you start paying attention, you see examples of ancient architecture all throughout Nashville. A lot of you locals have seen these Greek and Egyptian style buildings. And it doesn't matter where you are, right? Every major city in America has these old world structures. Rome never fell. The founding fathers, all Freemasons. They didn't build any of this, they found it. The government buildings, the monuments, the capitals, these were all already here. So why is there an exact replica of the Parthenon in Tennessee? Well, the story goes is they first built this as a temporary structure made of wood and plaster for the 1897 World Fair, which we're also never taught about, right, is these World Fairs. Then they rebuilt the permanent structure 20 years later. But there's two problems with that. Since when does a temporary structure last 20 years? And then two is I did a bit of digging and found this book that came out with the World's Fair, and it debunks the whole thing. In here, it was originally described as a permanent structure. It says nothing about wood and plaster, but stone, brick, and iron. It was listed as fireproof. This alone proves somebody is lying. Now, this place is also the holder of the world's largest set of matching bronze doors in the world. Now, for reference, I am 5'11". These doors are 24 feet tall and weigh 7.5 tons each. So I'm talking to one of the workers here, and she told me the doors were supposedly built in Long Island, New York. So I asked, okay, well, how were they moved here? You know, 4 15,000-pound doors, surely that's a feat everyone would want to document. Well, no official comment on how the doors were moved. No construction photos either. Nashville is suspicious, and the construction photos for the actual building, only 2 of them. Both Photoshop. If you really pay attention and use your discernment, you can see the scaling in this photo is completely off. And in this one, it's always the same thing. You see a fully erected building with some scaffolding slapped around, and that's all the proof they need. And then you look at the supposed architect. You mean to tell me a Civil War veteran, Master Mason by the way, laid out the blueprints for all of this? No. You gotta understand secret societies, rewriting history. Go see my last post about the World Fairs. All these World Fairs were coordinated by Master Masons, and these events were indoctrination points. They were international projects where secret societies would start rewriting the narrative. Anyone who's dove into Freemasonry knows how obsessed they are with all this stuff. Go look back into the World Fair's photos and you'll see it. All these places look like ancient Greece. Chicago, New York, St. Louis. Go back to the World's Fair for Nashville and you will see a giant Egyptian pyramid, the Mystery School, the Greek Initiation Temple, the Phoenician Bridge or Brotherhood, all in the guise of American progress. This is their religion. This is what they do. Go to any major city in America and you will find these buildings that weren't inspired by the old world, but are the literal remains of it. America is the old world.
Shout out to I Am for that deep dive. It is interesting, man. And he's right, man. It's not once do I remember them talking about world fairs in my social studies class, history, anything. You know, it was the Boston Tea Party, Mayflower. That's all I can tell you. The rest was just, you know, Underground Railroad, which I think was something completely different. Like there's underground networks to all these ancient buildings we see, not cities but buildings. Like anytime you see a ancient looking Tartarian looking structure if you will, they have an entire underground network I believe those underground tunnels, those were literal underground tunnels, like in Chicago. Like people talk about this whole underground world, you know. And it's crazy to me that they said these were fireproof. Speaking about Chicago, what happened to all those ancient buildings, you know, in Chicago? They said that cow, you know, had a mosquito itch and kicked over a lantern, allegedly. That's what they say. You know, this was designed by the looks of it. You know, they wanted to get rid of all these old world structures. I'm starting to think all these older wars were to get control of all these reset buildings. If you ask me, they're hiding a whole different narrative. At least talk about it or acknowledge it. It was completely avoided in those textbooks. Because what is the social studies teacher going to do? He's going to get the latest edition of his teacher's edition textbook. The social studies teacher is going to get his teacher's edition of the social studies textbook, and he's going to give all the kids, hand out all the kids their children's edition. What you going to do? Write your name on the first cover. This is your book for the entire year. He has all the answers, everything he needs in that book. I know this is true because I seen the teacher's edition book. It had the question and then the answers right under it. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, Fire Marshal Bill, let me show you something real quick. They don't want to talk about it. They ain't never talked to us in elementary public schooling. They don't want to talk about it. So what does your boy do? These ain't even all of them. These are just a couple, you know. How? Look at that. We gotta do our own research on world floods because they don't want to talk about it, y'all. We gotta jump in here, look at these structures and these airships that they don't want to talk about. Look at that. That one looks like a cruise ship, doesn't it? Don't worry, Alive coming soon. We gonna dig off into all these. Don't worry. But yeah, since they don't want to talk about it, we gotta educate ourselves on our free time. You know what I'm saying? Try to figure it out ourselves. You know, these are the textbooks they should have been giving us. Now back to your regular scheduled programming. And another thing is extraordinary is this door. You know, we were just speaking about those fruits, right? Those giant fruits. That giant cantaloupe, giant peach, it was something. Something that could fit through this door could definitely eat. Something like this is what I'm thinking. Do you see the correlation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. These giant humans, these giant doors, something ain't adding up here.
I googled 00101110 and I got this OSTI.gov article that talks about time travel, and it's the first link that pops up. And I find this quite interesting because before that used to be the World Scientific article, but this one in particular is interesting because it's from 1996. And the World Scientific Forum article about 001010 was from 2012. And I haven't heard anybody talking about the 1996 time travel reversal with 00101110 on the barcode. This is an interesting document. I'm going to give it a read. It's interesting that this is what's being prioritized and being pushed up to the top. It's not even in the title anymore. It's like, I understand the World Scientific Forum, they used it in the title, and not, you know, of course it's in the title, and then now here we have it's in the barcode. I googled 00101110.
Time reversal. Man, I sure would like to get the Powerball numbers and then use that patent to get the numbers right. Man, we'll be rolling. All of us would be on the airship in no time. I create a damn airship that's like a cruise ship for all of us. How many followers I got? However many followers, everybody gonna get their own room, their own locker. We're getting up out of Middle Earth, everyone.
This teacher quit mid-school year after finding out the truth about school technology.
I resigned mid-year because I could not in good conscience remain in the system any longer. And I'm telling you, this goes deep. Since 2019, kids have been tracked the moment they log into their school devices. Their emotions, behavior, diagnosis, their race and gender, every click, every search is recorded and handed over to tech companies without your consent. Programs like HMH, Amplify, Dreambox, Panorama, Class Dojo, Success Ed, all of this Khan Academy, they're backed by billionaires like Gates, Bezos, Zuckerberg. You can literally Google this info. These are so much more than just educational tools. They are surveillance systems collecting data on your children. Schools sign contracts as your child's parent under a loophole, a legal loophole. And tech companies are legally considered school officials. That means they can track and collect everything. This is not education anymore. It is data mining. It is manipulation and exploitation. And I refuse to stay silent.
I feel like those apps should be optional. You should say, look, I don't want to use this app. But at the same time, if the teacher's using that app to communicate, it's like, what do I do?
Most incredible secret government document that's ever been declassified is right here. It's called the Simple Sabotage Field Manual from 1944. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's got its own Wikipedia page, but this is a document on how to destroy a system just by being annoying. Now, headlines always call this document the CIA's Guide to Sabotage, but it actually came from the OSS. The CIA didn't exist back then. And it was a guide for people trying to resist in occupied Europe to slow down the whole system. And you would think such a guide would have instructions on how to disable infrastructure and things like that, but that's not the reason this goes viral. The document also includes a way for everyday office workers to sabotage an organization without getting caught. And when I read these, some of you are going to say, I think I'd work with this guy. Their tips to sabotage an operation include make speeches, talk as frequently as possible and at great length, illustrate your points with long personal anecdotes and accounts of personal experiences. Bring up irrelevant issues as frequently as possible. Haggle over precise wordings of communications. Pretend to misunderstand orders. Ask endless questions or engage in long correspondence about such orders. Quibble over them when you can. One way to lower morale and overall production, it says, is to unjustly scrutinize good workers while giving inefficient workers a pass. Also, hold meetings when there is more critical work to be done. Multiply paperwork. Think of ways to increase the number of movements necessary to do your job. I realize that some of you who have worked in an office are getting PTSD listening to these. But wait, there's more. Refer back to matters decided upon at the last meeting and attempt to reopen the question of the advisability of that decision. It seems clear to me that at some point the author was just venting about various behaviors he finds frustrating at the office. I mean, that's how you get tips like, give lengthy and incomprehensible explanations when questioned. Be as irritable and quarrelsome as possible, but not so much that it gets you into real trouble. This wasn't declassified until 2008, more than 60 years later. But having worked in offices prior to that point, I do feel like some people out there had a copy of this. The most incredible secret government document that's ever been declassified is right here.
Drop in the comments which one of those hit you the hardest. The one that hit me the hardest was the unnecessary meetings when more important stuff needs to be done. Man, I used to work in animal research. So the quicker I got my work done, the sooner I can go home on time, you know. But those meetings definitely made things worse. You want to talk about a horror show. I'm talking about pigs. You know, these are like 50-pound pigs. And you got 150, 160-pound person trying to hold this while you got a needle in your hand trying to do the pig blood draw, and it gets, you got the pigs, you know, they'll feel like they're winning if you don't got a good hold on the pig, you know what I'm saying? So the pig is moving because the person can't really hold the pig straight, so the pig, you know, it's moving, it's feel like it's getting more inches with every movement, and bam, you know, I seen so many people get a bloody nose from the back of a pig skull, because you know them pigs tough, you know, and they bite hard too. I got bit by like 4 pigs. You got to be quick though, you know what I'm saying? I actually got bit once by a pig, you know, and it just was because I was playing too much, you know, but I was real good, man. And when I held the pig, you know, I was so calm holding the pig, you know, it'll fall asleep, and I have my trainer look at me, he's tapping the pig like, you know, what's wrong with this pig, you know, it's not supposed to do that, and the pig will wake up, you know, and start moving. They started calling me the pig whisperer, low key. I love those pigs for some reason, you know, those pigs were a lot of fun to work with, but a lot of people didn't like working with them because they were so heavy, you know, and it was a fight, you know. Sometimes you'll have to go in there in full football gear, and you got 50 pigs that need a blood draw, man. You're gonna be sore for the next couple weeks after that.
This video is going viral on Twitter right now, but not for the reason you might think. This is a professional, controlled demolition of this skyscraper somewhere in the United States. The problem is, many people notice a similarity to it in regards to something that happened 24 years ago. Here we have a lesser known angle of Building 7. That one didn't get hit by a... They said it was from fires. But the fires in Hong Kong, 7 towers caught fire. They burned for almost 48 hours. And none of them collapsed at free fall speed into their own footprint. Now, officially, it happened to happen, man. A fire can weaken the structural steel. Don't worry about what architects and engineers say, but fires apparently can cause it to drop just like that. For the first time, though, in recorded history. Now, I would have expected something bigger to come from this, now that it's been 24 years. But seemingly, many people are still sleeping. Again, the Hong Kong towers, almost 2 days on fire, still standing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
For entertainment purposes only, do your own research on everything.
And that's why they keep you constantly distracted with external things. Because they don't want you to know that your body is the most advanced technology on the earth, and that your mind is in charge of 50 trillion cells that religiously obey every thought command that you project. You are literally in charge of a universe inside of you. But they want you to think rocket ships and iPhones are very advanced technology. But look at yourself. No one can replicate the human body.
Except human beings in general. Having kids. That's replication in a way, and I believe that's one of the most beautiful, out cold things a human could do.
Okay, so is this just a dog, or could it be a skinwalker? Because I mean, really, why would it be out there by itself on that trail, unless someone left it there?
Why are you walking forward to this damn hellhound? That's the crazy part.
Now, could this be... Okay, so is this just a dog?
That's a damn hellhound. I know this has to be fake, because ain't nobody gonna walk up to no dog slowly. Demon Doberman Pinscher, ears up, eyes glowing, slowly walking. Look, we don't even see no footprints. So this one's definitely AI. But that last video though raises a lot of questions. This one they generated. But this one though, I feel like this one would be hard to generate with the camera movement. Whenever you see camera movement like this on a CTV, I feel like, and the numbers aren't glitching, I feel like this is hard to replicate. That's the crazy part with all these paranormal cryptid videos, is that it's drowned in AI. So like when someone actually does catch something, it's like, did they catch something or was it generated, you know? But that's just how it is now, and that's what we do on these waters. We try to figure it out.
Alright, so I want y'all to look at this shapeshifter right here. Possible skinwalker. Look at this. Now it goes from looking like some type of humanoid creature to this bat you see right here. And it just flies away. Alright, so I want y'all to look.
I thought that was Solomon Grundy at first. You guys already know what time it is. If you thought you weren't going to get another excellent specimen of the day today, think again. Woohoo, look at this one. Oh, this one's going to be fun. Hayusen! Yeah. Guys, I want to hear your rating and I want to hear the names on this. Wow. I am going to name this the Charcoal Flame Boat. The Charcoal Flame Boat. And the rating I'm gonna give this a 9.2. This is interesting. It's it does look like a flame. You know, the flame, fire, something has to be in the name for this, I feel like. But I would say the Charcoal Flame Boat. And you can see like the ears or horns in the back. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, guys, I want to hear it. Drop them in the comments below. This is a fun one. Isn't it crazy how many different specimens there are? Like, I could do a whole channel just on specimens. There's so many of them. Don't tempt me, because I go to these rock shows, these mineral and crystal shows. That would be fun. But I gotta get on these waters. It's a lot of work that needs to be done. Now I remember this guy. He dropped some crazy theories. But let's see. This one's about, did we used to have green skin? This isn't the first time I heard of possibly having green skin, actually. But I do want to hear this.
Apparently we were all copper-based. All of our physiology was based on copper. We were all blue bloods. Okay? We were all royalty. In fact, we still are. It's just that our physiology is not working the same. And the reason it isn't is apparently because of a nuclear war that occurred here. One of the nuclear wars that occurred here. Now, why Earth? Well, number one, it's a really beautiful place. Okay? It's not the only planet that has water. And when you listen to the scientists talking about, the different moons that have water on them, you got to ask yourself this: where did the water come from? If you have a moon that has no atmosphere, how did the water get there? Because it wasn't always there. It wasn't always like that. It had atmosphere. They were moved. Even Earth was moved from its rotation twice. And there's a possibility, if it's able to happen, I talked with Jay-Z, that they want to do it again. The flood of Noah. Okay?
What is going on? I didn't know Jay-Z's moving planets. It's... Man.
Was a moving of the planet from its original orbit. That's what caused it. Okay, we're talking about huge motherships that just hook a little chain to the planet and just move it. Okay, they have this technology, but that's what it is. It's technology. Okay, apparently we can do these things with our own minds if we're disciplined enough and we're clearly focused on our intent.
It's an interesting sci-fi movie, to say the least. I'm gonna let them finish, but it's you need to get this script down and you need to pitch it to Netflix, honestly.
And talking with Jay-Z, that is exactly what Ramtha apparently has been teaching you. Okay, to remember who we originally were.
He must be talking about a different Jay-Z, because there ain't no way Rockefeller's moving planets. You know, what the heck is going on?
Before we fell into time and fell into physicality. So I will read this. In your linear time of third density measurement of 439,231 rotations ago, war on a grave scale occurred in your solar system. This aggression occurred against those on your worlds that included not only you Terrans, but also those of Nibiru. This invasion of your system by Orion was led by a queen named Suti. This war was destructive on many levels and frequencies of physicality.
Alright. It kind of gets... You can kind of see what he's talking to. Instead of thinking about it being all the way out in the different Milky Way or a different galaxy sector, you know, Moon 32 on the Pluto Nebula, whatever. Imagine it all on Earth, but just further away from Middle Earth. That's what I try to do. Whenever someone takes us way far out to Milky Way Sector 85, I try to bring it back and be like, how can I make sense of this? Where did he get this information? Where is he mixing it with? I try to think about it on the outer lanes as outer space. Whenever someone talks about outer space and they're giving you all these crazy theories, there might be a little bit of truth in there if you switch the paradigm up a little bit and think of it as being further out in the outer lands from Middle Earth, if you will.
We will focus tonight on your Terran physical form. It matters little to those who hear you, Alex, who do not listen. Please share this regardless of any emotional return to you in challenge. When your science truly removes their bigotry, they will discover of the wisdom of it. The last great conflict was very harmful to your physical form. Many weapons of destruction, many of atom splitting have been used, which means nuclear weapons. This is the reason for most of your Terran skin tones. We shall explain. Orion was and is...
You know, what they doing to the atom is suspect as well, you know. People say that, these aren't my words, but people said, you know, what happened to, you know, Shima over there? They said everything's back to like how it was. How come there's no, you know, stuff sitting around like Chernobyl? And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Most interested in the females of your race because of the procreation, reproductive, and genetic strengths. We want to share the fact that much of your Terran history has been misleading in its truth by those who eventually conquered in control of your solar system. Nibiru won, but only a short battle, before they and other outposts were forced to leave your solar system because of genetic damage. Your original races were green skin. This we know because of large copper traces in your Terran 22 blood types. Also, the pituitary and thyroid were fully functional. The genetic damage to these organs was caused by radioactivity in air and all things of contact. The air was like this for a long time.
That's why they say the people outside Middle Earth, like all the way out in Agartha, they live to be, what, 300 years old? They ain't got all that stuff in the air, allegedly. These are just theories, by the way. This entire video, just theories.
It caused the genetic memory of these organs to be closed and almost atrophied. Your world experienced drastic changes in climate and massive magnetic fluctuations. Your different skin tones, races, are a result of an edema damage to your blood. It was then necessary for survival to create self-sufficient and contained environmental habitats, both above and below the earth. Now, folks,
if you guys noticed that paper he was reading, that was a script he's going to pitch to Netflix.
This is what the Garden of Eden was. It was an artificially created environmental habitat. Okay, it's like like what Richard Hoagland's been talking about. You know, you take a dome city, you build this dome, and then you terraform it underneath that. It's exactly what these were.
He literally just admitted to the firmament, by the way. You know, I don't know if he's saying just the Garden of Eden had a firmament over it, but I think that's what he did say, but it's a little bit bigger than that if you ask me. Unless he's claiming the entire earth is Eden.
Let's see, where was I? Much of the fossilization of your Terran remnants is caused by this radiation of your planet. Your system contained 3 suns at the time. Only 2 remain. I'll read that again. Your system contained 3 suns at the time. Only 2 remain. Write it down, it's a question. Your physicality, your physicality in its original form contained a great balance of zinc, copper, magnesium, and iron. Your true blood color was green, like your chlorophyll.
Time I can think about that is Osiris, really, because didn't they say Osiris used to be green? You know? So that does kind of line up a little bit. Alright gang, that's all we have for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting a like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And today's code word is cover up. Go ahead and drop cover up in the comments below. When you do that, that lets me know you made it all the way through the video and you really rock with your boy. And every time I see a code word, I do my best to heart each one to let you know that it's appreciated. And even if I don't or respond to your comment, just know that it's appreciated, and I'm gonna do my best to respond to as many more as I can. I've been doing better to setting a couple hours to the side to try to respond to as many of those as possible. I'm working on something for video submission on the website or on my Facebook page, so those are the best ways to submit videos to me. And be on the lookout for Jet Ski Chuck, because I'm dropping a video today. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna have a longer length video on Jet Ski Chuck pretty much every other day. I'm doing back to every single day on Dark Waters 9, but be expecting a longer one on Jet Ski Chuck every other day and the lives. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We got an exciting year, a lot of work to do, and yeah. This was the most mysterious TikToks on the internet today. See you later.